Hi, everybody. My name is Brad Keelor. I'm the director of the Geo-Institute, one of 9 ASCE institutes. If you are not familiar with us, we are a membership society with approximately 12,000 members, most of whom are geotechnical engineers and geologists. We are starting this new series this week called Director's Cut, because I'm the director, where I will interview one of our members who's active in the society in some way. This will not be about a bridge abutment that they worked on or the presentation they gave at the last geo-congress, but instead it's going to be an opportunity to get to know our members on a different level and showcase the diversity that we have within the society. So our first episode this week, we are joined by Anna Kotas of Geocomp, and she is active in our Virginia chapter, but you're going to hear a little bit more about that later. The format of these things will be me asking about 10 questions and my guest not giving one-word answers, being verbose and informative. With those rules laid down, let us begin. Anna, are you ready?
Ready.
That does not count as one question. The
Okay.
first question, once and for all, is your first name Anna or Anna, and how often do you get called either version?
Okay, so two-part answer. When I first arrived in North America, I wanted to sound as American as possible, so I wanted to be Anna. And I have been going by that ever since I've lived, at least in the US, for 20 years now. But every single person that I meet who has even the slightest foreign accent, how do I introduce myself? Hi, I'm Anna. So I perpetuate the whole Anna thing totally on my own. So,
and it doesn't matter what foreign accent, you just go with it, no matter what it is?
Because any other country, A-N-N-A would most probably be Anna. So I make it easier on everyone. I feel I relate to people by making it easier. I don't know why I do it. Except
now everybody that watches this is going to get self-conscious and immediately start referring to you as
or intentionally
so enjoy that.
Okay.
In 30 to 45 seconds, maybe 47 if you need to, describe your job and what you like about it.
Okay, I am a geotechnical engineer. I work for Geotesting Express, a daughter company of Geocomp. But I mainly play a business development role now for GTX, which is one of the largest private geotechnical laboratories testing soil, rock, and geosynthetics. Every geotechnical engineer knows that a good geotechnical investigation is dependent on proper classification of the subgrade soils. And we at GTX provide that highest quality service to geotechs by testing the materials that they evaluate, and based on our tests, they do their design of some of the most prestigious projects really in the world. So I get to work to some degree on some of the most amazing projects, and it gives me great pleasure, exposure. I get to meet people like you, and I get to do these kinds of fun things. So I have the best job in the world.
What would you be doing if you weren't a geotechnical engineer?
I'm fairly certain I would be a little bit of a different type of engineer. I'd probably be designing fashion in one degree or another. I love engineering things out of fabric, from upholstering a couch to sewing a wedding dress. I have a workshop with now I think maybe 7 state-of-the-art machines. So once I get my groove on, I'm not coming out of my workshop for days at a time.
Now, you have to think back to all your education that got you to where you are today. Who was your favorite teacher or professor, and why?
So this is couldn't answer this any other way. When I'm an immigrant kid. I was born in Poland, and I left Poland when I was 10 years old. left communism essentially, and lived in Greece for 4 years or so, and then moved to Canada, and eventually ending up here in the US. When we left Greece after going to Greek school for 4 years and ended up in Saskatchewan, Canada, through some funny finagling, I ultimately ended up skipping grades 7 and 8. Just never went to 7 and 8. So over the summer, when we arrived in Canada, my mom, who is a mining engineer and a whiz at math, every single night sat with me, and no matter what fit I threw, she taught me math from grade 7 and grade 8 patiently, diligently. And so when I didn't speak a word of English when I started grade 9, that woman allowed me to speak the one language that's international to all of us engineers, right? Math. I owe her. I remember I have a 15-year-old now, and man, studying with him is not easy. So my mom was a saint, and nobody taught me better ever, with as much pleasure at the end. And I would bring her, and through graduating high school, I'd bring her my tests, scores in trig, algebra, calculus, and it was really all thanks to her that I aced them most of the time. So
I think that would have been a great story even before the events of the last 6 months, but all the parents out there will really have a deep appreciation for that now after we all struggled to do the same thing.
I have to call her and thank her again for what she put up with that summer.
Now we totally change directions, which will be a common theme on Director's Cut, and we have your top 5 albums of all time. Okay,
now I really thought this through, and to be very, very honest, I have to tell you that poor immigrant kid who trekked from one country to another, I just didn't have money for albums. I, for a very long time, didn't even have a stereo. Now, I love music and I couldn't live without it, and I would belt out, the latest hits, whether it was in Europe or here, whether I knew what the heck I was singing, whether I knew English or not. It was, music has always been with me, but I just didn't have enough money or really resources to be able to even buy an album, never mind having something to play it on it. So who do I love as artists from my time? Pet Shop Boys, The Cranberries, Ace of Base, anything you can dance to, anything that is rhythmic and awesome. That's my kind of stuff. Now we switch back to hard-hitting career questions. Right. What is your proudest accomplishment thus far in your career? So I have been working for around 20 years right now, but the coolest thing that ever happened to me was about 10 years into my career, I became a branch manager at age 32 of a consulting engineering office here in Richmond, Virginia. I know that at 32, that was a huge personal accomplishment to get a role that very few women fulfilled in similar positions here in Virginia. Frankly, I think, in the US. I was proud of myself. It was intense. I learned a lot about myself and my management skills and my people skills and multitasking skills. This was a geotechnical, environmental, and construction materials testing group that I had to oversee. It wasn't easy, but it still is probably the coolest thing that is on my resume. Think about, we go from your highest high to maybe your lowest low. What is the biggest failure in your career? What did you learn from it? Early in my career, I am a people pleaser. I want to relate. I want to be liked. I want to be good. I want to be respected. And around maybe 5 years into my career or so, I had a boss who was hired from somewhere upstate New York. Big whoop-de-doo. The guy was a Cornell graduate. I was told that this guy was a brilliant guy. And of course, I did everything to earn this guy's respect. And I'm not sure that I ever did. This guy had power over me. that pit talk, I don't know how many people attended our pit talks in the recent ASCE virtual technical conference, but Jared spoke about the power of your words as an engineer. And this guy had power over me, and it was negative power. He made me stumble like a bumbling fool. He made me nervous. I wanted so much to get his approval that I probably just kept taking it further south. We parted ways. I remember in 2005 I had my first son, so I left on maternity, and he, under somewhat mysterious maybe circumstances, left the company, so we never crossed paths before. But for a smart guy who I know had all this knowledge and everything, I wanted praise. I wanted him to say that you do great work, great projects, great this, and we've really butted heads throughout the entire year or two, and it's a regret. It's a regret. It doesn't feel good to ever part ways with anyone for me on any kind of a negative even thought, and so that was a tough one.
But you carry it with you and hope that maybe, I don't know, it makes a difference when you get in the same position. At least that's how I look at it.
Yes, I have to follow up that I actually, my communication, my relations, my how I jive with my current boss is so good and so smooth, and he has figured me out on exactly how to inspire me and exactly what kind of words, whatever it is to get me going. I'd walk for that man and my company to the West Coast if I could, because I feel good about the accomplishments, and they share with me their pride in what I do. And so it's a complete 180 from that experience, and it's a big lesson to note that I never become that kind of a negative influence on anyone as an engineer. Big lesson.
And if anyone is wondering, it's a long way from Richmond to the West Coast. So
yeah.
That's an important detail here. Probably about 2,300 miles.
Yes.
Easy one. Favorite soup?
Polish red beet borscht soup. Ever had any?
Super quick. Of course I have. I'm from the Midwest. It's super common food up there. Church gatherings or whatever, that's going to be on the menu. You answered that with no hesitation. Do you have a second favorite soup?
My husband, chicken noodle soup, hands down. The red beet soup is what we make once a year at Christmas, because it's got 14 steps and takes 2 weeks to create some sort of acid for the soup or something. But every couple of Sundays, my husband makes his chicken noodle soup, and it's a crowd favorite, at least in this house.
I have to have one of those at a chapter event.
Yeah.
So what aspects of GI and ASCE are you involved in? I know about Geo Virginia, but you can tell us more.
Yes. So, actually, one of the most fun and events that I am proud to participate in for Geo-Institute is planning the Geo Virginia conferences that happen every 1.5 years. It's probably the greatest Geo party after Geo-Congress, of course, respectfully, and I love participating in that. For Geo-Institute, I am on the National Capital Section Chapter Board. I also am for ASCE. I'm on the Richmond ASCE chapter. Dr. Tim Stark has asked me to help out with the Geo Extreme conference next year, and that sounds pretty exciting too. So recently I signed up for being a practitioner advisor at UVA. It's not necessarily a Geo-Institute type of thing, but you better believe I'm going to be plugging for geotechnical engineers. So I as active as I can be, as much as I can contribute. It blends in well with the type of job that I do. So I try to volunteer for as many roles as I can.
And for all you students watching, student membership is always free. So click the link down in the description and join.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
One more. We have 2 more questions. One is nostalgia. What is the most surprising thing that happened to you at your first job? Again, you have to think back.
Okay, first job, okay. So, I am one day sitting writing some sort of a report in my office, and our CEO walks in. Sam Proctor is his name. And he asks me, "Do you have a valid passport?" And I thought, am I moving? Is this it? And he says, because we're going to Europe with the Virginia Economic Partnership. So we're buying tickets and we're going in next week. And so it really happened. Within 5 days, I had a ticket, and with a group of maybe 10, 15 business folks from all over Virginia and the representatives of the Virginia Economic Partnership, we went to Poland and Romania and some other countries to see what kind of possibilities mutual cooperation should bring. So, I mean, did I ever think the CEO would take me on a trip? Never. But I went, and it was awesome. So
very cool. Bonus question that's not on our plan. When you go to Europe, or specifically Poland, are you viewed as Polish or are you viewed as American?
1,000% Polish. They think that I am cool because I live in America, but my Polishness oozes out of my pores. So you can't, including my Polish t-shirt that I engineered myself, if I have to say so myself. So absolutely, it literally, you can't hide it from anyone, my Polishness. So
final question today, easy one, least favorite weather element, or maybe that's a hard one.
I am a summer girl. I love to sweat it out. I am in Virginia. When people are cranking up the AC and hiding inside, me and my family are out there on the balcony basking in the heat and humidity. I absolutely love it. So I start summer somewhere around March. I end it somewhere in the beginning of November, and everything else is between a little bit of for me. But that time between spring really arriving, but winter kind of going away, where it's just gray, ugly, and miserable, I could do without that couple of months or weeks. So
you survived. That was the full list. The viewers, you all survived as well. Thank you for sticking around to the end of the first episode of Director's Cut. Come back next time when we will be speaking with Taki Chrysovergis of our Orange County chapter, and maybe local involvement committee fame, if you're a local involvement committee fan. I don't know. So thank you, Anna, for being our first guest.
You're welcome.
And we hope you join us. Check out geoinstitute.org for more information about our upcoming events. You can go to all our social media feeds, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, for more information on our upcoming live streams. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click get notifications so that you are notified when a new episode of Director's Cut is posted or anything else we do. Thank you very much. And Anna, thanks again.
Thank you. See you, everybody.